For 6 years, I tried to win clean inside their building. 6 years of getting robbed under the lights. So I stopped trying to win. I started trying to take. Boone had built Marlow's machine from the inside. He knew it kept books. One ledger, every bought judge, every paid official, every fixed night, all of it in one place.
You burn a man like Marlow with paper, not fists. Get me to that ledger, and the whole thing comes down.
No more rings, no more rules. This time I was going up into the dark box above the lights, where the man who owns it all had never once been touched. Boone drew the tower from memory, the floors, the cameras, the one night a week the records moved.
The ledger lives on the top floor, in his office, because he thinks nobody would ever dare come up for it. That arrogance is the door.
I had spent my whole life reading a man for one opening. Now, I was reading a building.
If we do this, there's no walking it back, Mickey. You understand that?
I understood it. I'd understood it since the night they buried my brother and called it an accident. The tower stood over the city like it owned the sky. Kingsway money. Marlow money. Boone still knew a man on the inside. A fixer who moved papers for Marlow and hated him almost as much as we did.
One window. The cameras blink at the shift change. After that, you're on your own up there.
One window. That was all I had ever needed. Before we went, I went back for the only thing that mattered. My brother, Danny. Boone and Ossie had both buried fighters in this machine. Danny was mine.
This isn't a robbery, son. It's a funeral with a plan.
Danny was the better fighter. The machine took him anyway. Tonight, I was bringing him the receipt. Then I slid his photograph into my jacket, and we went to take it back. We went over it until none of us had to think. Think, and you hesitate. Hesitate up there, you don't come down. Boone had the floors. Ossie had the timing. I had the only job that mattered. Get to the box and don't stop. Then there was nothing left to plan. Only the dark and the climb. When midnight came, Boone cut the power, and we walked into the dark like we belonged there. The first man between us and the top didn't expect us. None of them ever do. Floor by floor, we went up the spine of his empire, quiet, in the dark. Boone's map held. Every floor, every blind camera, right where he said it would be. Boone went first. 20 years a destroyer for the machine, and tonight all that violence finally pointed the right way. Up top, it stopped being quiet. Every door we put behind us was one Marlow thought would always hold. They didn't. Marlow paid these men to guard a door he never once believed anyone would reach. These were Marlow's best men, hard and well paid, certain nobody would ever climb this high. We climbed anyway, one floor at a time, until there was no higher left to go. And then we were in the top floor, the room above the lights. Years of getting robbed, and the proof had been sitting up here the whole time. In the dark, in a book. Boone found it in under a minute. He'd helped write it. Every name, every payout, every night they stole. And there it was, Danny's last fight, in ink. The lie that buried him, written down in their own hand. He was already there. He had been the whole time. He hadn't run, because men like Marlow have never once had to run. For a whole season, he'd been a shadow above the lights. Now, he was just a man in a chair. Older than I pictured. Calmer. He didn't reach for a phone. He didn't call his men. He looked at the ledger in my hands like it was a thing he had already replaced. And that was when I understood. The book was real. The names were real. But the machine was never one book. It was him. And he wasn't afraid of me yet. He didn't shout. He didn't run. He just watched. The way you watch a debt you already know you'll collect. Boone wanted to burn it all down right there. Marlow just watched us like he was deciding what we were worth. I had come up here to end a man. What I'd found was a man who couldn't be ended with a fist or a page. He let us walk out with it. That was the cruelest thing he could have done. He let us keep the proof, because he knew the proof alone couldn't touch him. Every instinct told me to put him down. But you can't knock out a man who owns the room, the lights, and the law. We got out with the ledger and lost something getting out. This is a machine. It always takes its piece. I stood over the city that had robbed me my whole life, holding the one thing that could burn it, and finally understanding it wasn't enough. Boone said it plain. The names are a start, but a start is not the end. Outside, the city kept glittering, paid for with fights like Danny's. I held the proof of it in my hands, and it still wasn't enough. You don't beat a man like Marlow by stealing his book. You beat him by taking the thing he loves in front of the world he owns. And the thing Marlow loved was his champion, his golden son, the man he was building to own the whole division.
If you want to hurt Marlow, kid, you don't go up to his office again. You go to his ring. You take his fighter.
So I taped my hands again. No more dark boxes. If I wanted the man in the lights, I was going to have to go back under them. And this time, I was coming up.